Hello class. I'd like to show you how to use the DSU library to find good sources for your research project. So here we are at the library's homepage. Now we're going to use the search engine here. And there's two things we're going to search for. We're going to search for books and we're going to search for articles. So let me start with books. Let's say my topic is I'm interested in geopolitics, so I'm going to look for my topic on Russian nuclear weapons. I'm going to hit search. So I'm just looking for books on Russian nuclear weapons as the key word. And so what comes up, if we look at the top here, 4,449 sources. That's too much. We need to whittle that down. And so down here on the left-hand side, I can make my search more specific. So right now, it's looking for every library in the world. That's not really what I want. I want what's just in Delaware State University's library. So I'm going to click here, and we're going to see these results go down. So now, 116 results. So that's a little better. Let's take a look at what kind of books we have. Protecting Nuclear Weapons Materials in Russia. Now I'm looking here, it's an ebook. This was published in 1999. So that's over 20 years old. I'm going to check this out just to see if this is something that I would want to include. So this is more information about this source. I think I want to take a look at it. So I'm going to say View ebook. Let me see what this book is about protecting nuclear weapons materials in Russia. So this is going to take me to another page where I have to log in. Now, in order to look at any of the library's resources, you have to log in with your library card number. If you don't know what that number is, contact the library. So I'm going to put in my library card number here. And I'm going to hit login. So now I can learn more about this source. So I get a description. So looking at this description, this looks exactly like what I want to talk about. And so now I can access the ebook. Here is the table of contents. I can just look at the preface for some interesting information. I can read about these particular nuclear systems in Russia. So depending on, how far I want to go into this, I might read more of this book. For your sources for the paper, you can cite book chapters. You don't have to read the whole book. Read a chapter of the book, and that would count as one source. So I'm going to go back now and start again at the library page because I want to look for some articles. So let me back up here. So here I am at the library homepage. If you have trouble finding your library barcode, the library has this great chat feature where you can chat with a librarian right away. So you just want to put your name in here. And then your question. I can't find my library barcode. I have to take books out for my research paper or something to that effect. And start chatting. You can chat with a librarian right there. So if you have any questions about where your library barcode number is, don't hesitate to ask a librarian. So I'm going to look now under articles. Let's see what kind of articles I find under Russia nuclear weapons. Oh wow, so now I have 3,129 results. So what I'm going to do is hone down my search to just articles that I can get through Delaware State University Library. Now I'm down to 573. That sounds better. Now this first article looks good, and look, it's very recent. It's from 2020. Russia's nuclear weapons in a multipolar world, guarantors of sovereignty, great power status, and more. And here I have a little summary that Russia views nuclear weapons as guarantors of peace and security. Well, that's important to my topic because I want to know what Russia thinks of this as well as what, United States policy is. I'm going to click on View Full Text. So now I'm going to be taken right to the article. Now, when you're first looking for sources, don't read the whole article. You just want to see if this is a source that you could use in your paper. So just look at the beginning or look at the abstract. So right here is the abstract. Most peer-reviewed articles contain an abstract in the beginning so you can know what they're about. So this sounds like it's something in my scope, so I'm going to include this in my works cited. If you have trouble using MLA citation, the library also offers the ability to give you a citation. So the way I would cite this, let me click on Cite here. Here's the MLA style. This is the style that we want to use. So I have my last name and then first name of the author. There's the title of the article in quotes. There's the name of the journal in italics. Then volume number, year publication, and page numbers. And then there is a URL that I can use. If I click on this, it will take me to this article. So that's the format style. That's the documentation style that you want to use. So I'm going to go back and look at some other possible topics. So we found some stuff on Russian nuclear weapons. Let me see if there's a different search. If I'm looking for something, maybe, let's see. Let's start off with books. And I'm going to use a different topic. I'm going to use women, workforce, discrimination. I'm interested in women's roles in the workforce and what kind of discrimination women are still facing. So, looking at my books, first off, I have 972 results. I need to take that down. Let me click on just the books for Delaware State University. Okay, so right on top here, women of color in STEM navigating the workforce. So STEM is a place where we don't see many women and when we don't see many women of color. And so this is something that I think would be interesting. Of course, I can click Show More to see the rest of the abstract here. So you know what? I think I'm going to include that book. Now, another way to perform your research is to email yourself the citation. So you just automatically have a link to this book. So if I hit share here, I can email myself this text. So there's my email. I can put the same email in both of these and send a link to myself. And that way, a link to this very book is going to be sitting right in my inbox. So that's another way to collect your sources. But let's see what other kind of books we find. Ooh, a handbook about discrimination at work. Well, I'm definitely thinking about discrimination. So this book is going to tell me about discrimination law. That might be something interesting to add to my subject. Women in management. Okay, so look, now I'm getting European labor markets. I'm not interested in European labor markets. I only want to look at American ones. So here's one that's specifically about American labor. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make my search even more specific. Up here, women workforce discrimination. I only care about American women. I'm not talking about all over the world. So this does not really just get rid of my European labor mountain, but, oh, I read about some more women in the workforce. Women at work in pre-industrial France. Let me see if I could do something a little better than US. I'm going to say American. All right, so that whittled it down. 10 results in Delaware State University. So those 10 books are what I'm going to look through. The Sex of Class, Women Transforming American Labor. That sounds like it's up my alley. Published in 2007. So as long as it's in the 2000s, I think it's recent enough to be used in your papers. Well, here we have Changing the Face of Engineering, the African American Experience. If I'm interested in African Americans in STEM fields, that's something I could look at as well. Let's take a look at articles. So I'm going to go back to my library homepage now and look for articles about my topic. So remember, I had to make it more specific by putting American women. So I'm going to say here, women, workforce, discrimination, America, or American. How about that? And let's search, see what kind of articles I can find about this topic. So here we go, 1,410 results. Oh, that's too much. So let's see just what's in the Delaware State Library. 377. Well, that sounds a little better. So this first one doesn't exactly seem like it's in my area because this is about discrimination in healthcare. I'm looking for discrimination in the workforce, so I'm going to keep going. Feminization of American office work. No, that's not it. Minorities and women in state and local government. That might be interesting. That's from 1980, though. That's old. I'm not going to use that in my paper. The law against sex discrimination. Okay, here's something from 2011. The effects of discrimination and acculturation to service-seeking satisfaction for Latina and Asian American women. Well, that sounds like it's something I could consider. So let me read a little more of this abstract. Mental health service seeking. So that means people who are seeking mental health service. So I don't think that's still in my area. Here we have state level anti-discrimination laws. That's going to be something that's interesting to me, and that's from 2003, so I might include that in my research. So this is just some examples. I would suggest only considering essays that are from the 2000s or later. So this is Women in Medicine, but it's about from the Indian Journal of Gender Studies. That's going to tell me about women in India. That might not be in my scope. And so you can see there's several pages I can look through here. 377 results. Here's another essay about discrimination and women. So this is something that I could use. So this is just to show you the different ways that you could use the DSU library to find good sources. And as long as you have your barcode working, you could check out any of these sources. So if I just click on View Full Text, remember I already put my barcode in, and so it remembers that, so I can just click on this and then I'm ready to go. There's there's the essay I wanted to read. And I can just page through this just like it was a magazine. Okay, so any questions at all? Remember that you can go to the library chat from the library homepage here. Type your name and your question and you'll be linked up with a librarian and they can help you with any troubles you have with the library website. I'm also here if you want to email me at ssikowski@desu.edu, and happy hunting!